Life isn't perfect, and neither are we.
Nope. But we know how to face our fears
And have some fun.
and talk about all the messiest things of life.
Like the messiest things.
Get connected to yourself, get connected to others, and get connected to the life right in front of you.
This is The Connected Life with Justin and Abby.
That's me.
That's you.
And you.
So, Abby just flashed me her boob.
Justin Stumble.
It's part of marriage. You got a good marriage, you should get boob flashed every once in a while. And
Okay,
I did.
It is true. I don't even remember the context of it now.
Yeah, but it happened.
It did happen.
And I'm not mad about it.
The amount of times we've had sex in the office is delightful.
We've christened the podcast room for sure.
We've christened many a room. You know, we need to do an episode soon on sex and working through trauma in the body.
Oh, okay.
We're going to put that on the docket.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that.
Okay. Will we talk more about boob flashings? So, anyways, that's a sign of a healthy marriage that you like to excite
See
each other.
other's bodies.
Yeah,
still.
stuff like that. That's a good thing. But we're not going to talk about sex today.
I appreciate that you like my body.
Yeah, I do like your body.
I like your body.
This is going to be a Christmas episode.
That's and now all the families are going to be like, how do I play this for my kids? I'm going to have to like fast forward the beginning and before we start it.
No parent should fast forward that. They should be like, you listen up. That's what a good marriage is like. There's boob flashings and sex talk. Merry Christmas, kids. Learn now from healthy people instead of the media. It's
funny.
either us or,
TV.
Janet Jackson flashing a
That's
boob, years ago
the
for
old
those
school.
old school people.
Yep.
Hey, so real quick, everybody.
That's one of my favorite, most random, ridiculous openings of a podcast.
as we're ramping up into this podcast today, and we're ramping up to the end of the year, we want to say a few things.
Yeah.
First off, thank you for all of our listeners who have participated. We love you all so much. We've had so much fun getting to participate in your lives, hear about how we've affected you. And so many of you have loved on us in ways that have been so profoundly affecting to our lives over the last year and over the last couple of years. We just want you to know we really, really appreciate that you allow us to be haunting voices in your heads.
100%. 100%.
Some of you have reached out and been like, I just feel, I appreciate you guys so much. And I just love you guys. What are ways that I can like express that? And we don't need anything, but if you want to love us, you're welcome to rate, review, subscribe, and share, and do something like that in this season. And just go out and write a review on iTunes and stuff like that, if that's a way that you want to give back to us.
I was just reading, somebody sent their story to us actually probably like a month ago. Instagram messages are the worst. In case you've ever DM'd me and I didn't respond, I probably never saw it.
Right.
I get so many, and then I'll see, like, so I just found this one that was from a month ago. I never responded to it, but they shared their story of how they've been impacted and their life has been changed, and it like deeply affected me. I think the thing that most people don't understand is,
is that the one that you were like, oh my God?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think people know, because a podcast is a very weird thing where me and you do this, and then we don't, like, when I'm speaking in a public space, I see the people, and I get to see
there's a relational
interactive
experience,
there's
and
a
you're
back and forth
watching
energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people share on social media or message or tell me that they've listened or how it's impacted, because I literally, like, I walk around and people know everything about my life, but I don't even know I don't know they listen to the podcast. You know what I mean? So when people just share that they listen or something that they got out of it, or when people message me about an episode and how it affected them, like, that's, oh my God, I'm real emotional. That's like the thing that makes it worth it to do this, is to feel like it's impacting someone.
Yeah, and I don't even want to minimize those emotions, but you are close to your period.
But also, like, it is the thing that keeps us going is if it impacts people. The only reason we do this, it is a lot of time and energy. Yeah. Especially in the season, in the last season when I was so sick, it's one of the things that we've fought to do.
Right. And stay committed to consistently. Yeah.
And so when we hear that it matters to people, it really feels good.
Yeah. Totally.
Also, we want to have more interaction with our audience. And so that's why we made our website where you can fill out things that you want to hear, topics you want to hear about.
So you can go to justinabby.com and go to The Connected Life and write in ideas that you have. We've said it before. If we choose your idea for a show, we'll give you a shout out, maybe something else, who knows? But at minimum, you're going to get a shout out for that. And we're wanting to do that because, again, we're wanting to even know your needs as listeners and connect in and be like, what is it? Because you guys have obviously been on a journey with us. You've been growing. You've been transforming. A lot of you have been through a long journey. It's not just 1 or 2 episodes. And so we're actually going, all right, how do we meet people's needs and love them well? Because we do this to love people well. Yeah. That's ultimately why we started The Connected Life. It's why I started the Liberation Project. Was because I wanted to have a conversation back then with men and wanted to just love men well and give away whatever I had to give away to try and like better the world. And so that's why we want to know so we can continue to better the world in ways that are super helpful to our listeners.
Yep. Okay, Christmas episode.
Yeah, Christmas episode. One other thing, last thing, and we go into this Christmas episode. Living Fully Alive signups are starting January. Maybe even a little bit sooner than that. We're trying to get all the website details worked out, but the signups for that'll start. And then March is a big launch of it. And so just letting you know up front, you can go ahead and jump on there and get on our mailing list to know exactly when it happens. So.
In case you've never heard, Living Fully Alive is the course that we made. It's like the foundational pieces of what you need to know if you're going to be working with people or if you want to get healthy yourself. And that is the foundational course that then leads into the life consulting masterclass that we do where you can learn to be a life consultant.
Yeah. So with that said, Christmas.
Well, I wanted to start with Christmas because, Christmas is a holiday that so many people have emotions about, and emotions in every direction. Some people are like Buddy the Elf and so excited about Christmas. I know Marcus has been on our podcast before and he loves Christmas.
Yeah, he gets elated about it.
Plays the Christmas music and decorates his whole house and has Christmas jammies and like he is living his best life around Christmas. And then there are people like me who every year you have to force me to decorate for Christmas.
I did start putting up the fake tree yesterday.
Yes, he was like, because I was like, we don't really need to do that.
Like, you're in affordance. I have to do this. I'll start it, and then you're going to get in on it.
Yeah, I like to. It'd be helpful for people to know. Like sometimes emotions can be subtle. Like it's not like I'm like, I don't want to have a Christmas tree. I'm not having huge emotions about it. I'm just like, that's like not the most important thing on my list to do. But Justin, because he's a good man who loves me dearly, is like, no, you need Christmas. So there's all of the emotions of loneliness, I think, comes up for a lot of people, where people feel really like Christmas. Everybody thinks about the family. They don't have the spouse. They don't have the missing hole.
The problems they do have.
The problems they do. The money they family. Don't have. So it can be a time where lack gets kind of brought up to the surface for people. And I think it's easy for people to imagine everybody else, though. Like everybody else has a family that gets together and loves each other, or everybody else gets presents like this, or everybody else. I mean, I knew that at a young age, I felt those emotions. Like our family did things different at Christmas. And so I think that in the sense of like every family does things different. I just thought that there was one universal thing outside of what my experience was like.
Yeah.
And so what I'd like to just encourage, I want to start by encouraging before we talk even more about it, is just then there's the other people who feel so excited and in awe and wonder. And then there's the people who feel in lack that hate the people who are in awe and wonder. And then there's people who are like really trying to have good attitudes. That was me a lot of times. Like I'd be like, I really am trying to have a good attitude, but grief comes up at holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's not something we choose necessarily. I had for Thanksgiving, I had this scenario happen that like so caught me off guard, but we went to Hawaii for Thanksgiving.
We did,
which is a miracle.
Swam with the turtles.
It was wonderful. And then we were coming back to Redding. And so my friends were having a Friendsgiving, and we got into a miscommunication about things, and they had it a day before we got back. And I logically understood.
Yeah, no big deal.
I was like, okay, these things happen. I felt like I had asked them to wait till I got back. The communication got lost between things. And when I found out that they did Thanksgiving one day before me, we were on our way home. I just burst into tears on the airplane, being like, why would my friends not care about me? Do I care about them more than they care about me? And then instantly was transported back to a very traumatic Thanksgiving I had 4 years ago, where it was horrible for so many ways. And so holidays are almost like this milestone. So it was just to help people know how I processed it. I cried on the plane.
Yeah.
I talked to you about it. I cried about it. And then I went to my two best friends.
And I begrudgingly put up with it. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. and then you went to your friends and you chatted about it.
And then I went to each of them, and I was vulnerable. I was like, this really hurt my feelings. I had big emotions about this. It was sad. And they shared their heart towards me and was like, oh, we would like, it was miscommunications on both of their sides. But they were able to sit with me in that and tell me that they loved me. And that was really helpful for me. And then I was able to grieve out a little more of, oh my gosh, that thing that happened 4 years ago really impacted me. It really, really hurt. And I think that holidays are like time capsules, kind of like, you know how if you listen to a song over and over again during, like, if you're falling in love and you listen to a certain song all the time, in the future, when you hear that song, you'll remember that falling in love season. Or if you listen to a breakup song all the time, in the future, when you hear that breakup song, it will instantly transport you. It's like a time capsule. It transports you back. And holidays can do that for people.
Yeah.
They can instantly transport you back. I know lots of people who just start to subconsciously have emotions around the holidays. Their body starts to feel emotions. Their consciousness has no idea, but it's because of pain. And so much pain happens because so many people, we all want family. Yeah. We all want to feel loved. We all want to feel like we belong to something. We want to feel accepted, seen, heard, known. And so many of our families don't have the capacity to create an environment like that.
Yeah.
Or just crazy life stuff happens around holidays. And so I want for people to actually have compassion on themselves, to be very kind towards yourself and towards others. If somebody has a hard feeling with holidays, knowing like, oh, holidays actually are time capsules. They keep that stored up grief. They keep that stored up pain. And so it's not just always that people are having a bad attitude and
right.
And I think it's so important to recognize like a lot of depression and anxiety can come up around the holidays. And so we need to be extra kind.
Well, thanks, Debbie Downer. Way to point out how crappy Christmas is. I'm just being playful.
Yeah, totally. We need to be extra kind and compassionate towards people and really aware of how to love each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Like even like me going to my friends and being vulnerable and allowing them in to know that affected me is part of allowing love in. And when pain like that comes up, I don't feel like, what is wrong with me? I think, wow, something really impacted me and my heart is telling me it needs to grieve a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have more on that? that you want to share?
On that specific thing? Or are you going to try to change the subject?
No, I know that we want to that there's multiple avenues of this conversation we want to have. So I just want to make sure that you feel.
Oh yeah, no. So I just want people to be aware of loving each other. This is a season where everyone needs love. Be aware that if you have emotions come up, be kind towards yourself when things come up.
That's really good.
If you have loneliness, and then. I believe so, and we teach this in all of our courses. There's two things we really try to get people to hold duality with is compassion, like being compassionate towards yourself, and then being powerful.
Right.
So I am going to have compassion on why there's grief. Like I'm like, oh, it's sad every time you have a holiday and you're like, I don't have a mom anymore.
Yeah.
Like, oh, other people get to have a mom in their life at Christmas. I don't get to have that. Or, oh, like those things are sad. So I'm going to feel and have compassion. And then I'm going to engage. What are the things I do have in my life?
Yeah, it's really powerful.
What are the ways I get to be loved by people in my life? What are the gifts in my life? What are the ways that I can choose into love? And I think I felt this at a really young age with holidays was like, what is it that I'm going to do to create? Because I grew up with a mom who was sick and on like a drug addict.
Yeah.
There wasn't much stability or dependability on anything with her. Yeah. And that's why holidays, I think, are painful for me.
Well, yeah, you couldn't count on anything coming through as far as even decorating. I mean, last minute,
Yeah, my mom would be like, you can't do it without me, but then she would never
until
feel good enough
the night
to
before
do it.
Christmas. Yep. And all of a sudden you're being forced to decorate.
Well, I wasn't forced. I wanted to.
No,
back then.
I mean forced in the sense of like it didn't get to happen prior. Now is the time it has to happen. Like it's now or never. And now you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to go engage that.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas was painful with my mom because there was so much you could not count on.
Yeah.
And so what I learned to do, so that's like real, and I want people to be able to feel the pain of that. But I want them, like what I did with that was like, okay, then I want to create love that I can count on at Christmas. Yeah. I want to create an experience that I can count on. And I learned that what I choose to give, you don't have power over what you receive or what people do for you or how that works. But what I choose to give is a way that I have power over my experience.
That's so good. Yeah. Speaking of that, part of what we want to talk about is the heart of giving and Christmas. Mm-hmm. I want to talk a little bit about some stuff that we did last year because I think what you're pointing out is like, okay, I'm not going to ignore what's going on inside of me, but in a posture of power, I am actually bettering the world and I'm creating experiences of love for people. Like I can't control what I do receive, how people love on me during the holidays. But I can control how I love the world around me and how I add to it. And I think that it's very easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of the holidays of like, what am I going to get? And who are the close immediate people I have to take care of? And we just get on this hamster wheel of like just having to do Christmas as normal.
Yeah. And there's so many activities and parties and things to do.
So one of the things that Abby and I are not doing this year is we're not buying each other gifts.
Which I love. Also, not a gift giver.
But
this is like a dream come true for me.
But what we're going to do this year is we've pooled the money that would be spent on each other and in other ways, and we've decided to take that and put that towards other people. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But this is on the back end of something that we did last year.
Yeah.
And we had some incredible encounters last year, and we want to spark something inside of people as they're listening and inspire you to engage Christmas in the spirit of what it's meant to be. It's meant to be a holiday that expresses the love of Jesus inside of it, that it reminds us that a gift was radically given to the entire world to actually set us free, to bring us back to unconditional love. And so actually participating in that spirit rather than wondering what I'm going to get, but actually going, what can I give? Whether that's financially or emotionally or time or whatever it happens to be, what am I going to do to make this holiday special that expresses the unconditional love of heaven that this holiday is actually about?
Yeah. So last year, we sat down probably in like, I don't know, September, October, and made a list of all the things that we wanted to do for the holiday season. Like what's most important? How do we do it? And it wasn't, you don't want to make it too long to feel overwhelming, but there was a few things. And one of the things we all thought is like, let's do a Christmas giveaway night. Mm-hmm. So we had several friends of ours, kind of a group of us who all pooled our finances together. So we all, and I'd like to, this is kind of a cool thing. I've never even meant to do this, but when I look back over my life, I've done this a lot. Pulling money together with groups is like is a really cool experience. Mm-hmm. And you know, like with a family together or with a group of friends, we've had all kinds of scenarios where we've pulled money together, but it enables you to do something you couldn't do otherwise.
Right. Something that feels really extravagant and also fun and community.
Yeah. And so, I feel like, so we decided we were going to pool our money together and have a night of giving. Mm-hmm. So we started it by picking a restaurant and we just prayed, give us a waiter that needs money. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to take credit for this idea. Somebody else did this and told me about it and I loved it. So I was like, oh, one day I want to do that. And that's how giving is supposed to be contagious. It's supposed to spark ideas. So it actually happened to one of my really close friends where she was a waitress and she was in desperate need of finances. And somebody came in and gave her like a $600 tip or something like that near Christmas. And they said, we always save a bunch of money and pool it all together to go to have a meal out with the intention of blessing our server. And we pray for who that will be, that it'll be somebody that needs it. And so we feel like we're supposed to give it to you. And it like really impacted her and helped her. And so I loved that story. So I was like, let's do a night like that. That sounds fun. And then we just got some other cash and we're like, we're going to figure out ways to give this away around that.
Yeah. And we went on a journey of praying, like, who are people, specifically maybe some families that could use this right now, a hit of this. And we got the opportunity to show up at people's doorsteps and be like, hey, we don't even know you personally. We just heard from someone that there was a need here in this space. And this is just us showing up to say, we love you and we want to bless your holiday season. And I watched as people were really undone by that, where it's like, it begins to sow something in people's hearts, not just like, oh, we got a gift. It's, oh, there's a really good Papa in heaven who's participating in our story and sees me, like who's activated someone else's heart to participate with him, to show up at my doorstep, to meet us in this time of need.
Yeah.
And so I watched, even as we went through stores, we went to stores during shopping time and we walked around these big stores and we're like, just praying, like, who do we go up to and give money to?
Yep.
And it's one of those that feels
it's really fun. Like that part of it was very adventurous.
It was.
Because you're like walking and you're looking for somebody and you're like, which one of you do I give? We
probably look like stalkers because some people probably notice us like all as a group staring at people.
And then I would find somebody and I'd go get our friends and be like, what about them? And so that must have looked like crazy. Yeah.
But I watched as, we had multiple moments that were just really moving. One moment we went up to
let me share the beginning of the story. So I go up, we see this woman, I'd seen her through the store and I was like, we're supposed to give her money. Yeah. So we go up to her at the checkout.
Yeah. So it was later on, like when we kept wandering around, but you felt really this strong, like I'm supposed to give to her.
So I go up to her at checkout and I hand her a card and in the card is cash. But she's like, no. But when I hand her the card,
she's like aggressive. No.
And I was like, wait, what? She's like, what are you trying to do? I was like, no, I'm just trying to give, like, I feel like we just want to bless you. It's Christmas. I tried. And she was like, what kind of joke is this? Like, she was so
guarded.
I'm like, no, I promise it's nothing. We just want to bless some people for Christmas. We really felt like you were a person that we were supposed to do that with, blah, 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 whatever I said. And so then she finally took it. And then I left because I was like, she's cranky. And so I left. And so then after that, I came back.
Well, we were walking out.
Yeah. We were actually in another area.
Right.
And she saw us after she got done checking out. And she just burst into tears
and grabbed us
and held us all and was like, you don't know what this means for my family. I needed this so much. Now we can have Christmas. It was very tender.
Yeah. And I look at things like that and I'm like, that is the most beautiful gift that I could get, is the participation in seeing somebody's life impacted. Like, and for us, part of that expression was financial, right?
Yeah.
It's like the waitress. We looked at her and we said, "Hey, we're not going to give you a tip for this meal." Mm-hmm. Her face like, just bottomed out. But we do have a gift for you.
Yeah. She's like, ugh,
great. Like, okay.
So we have this gift bag.
And it's full of 20s. Just so many 20s. And she opens it up and starts pulling them out, and you watch as her face goes from this broken, destitute thing, and then tears just start flying down her face, and then she bursts
into tears and then runs off. Away. Runs away.
But you're watching these moments where it's not just like, oh, we could pat ourselves on the back, we did good. Mm-hmm. It's, oh, I'm getting to watch as I participate with heaven and see love be made manifest in ways that meet people's needs. And going back to financially was one of the ways that we were operating in that way. But there's so many other ways that people in this holiday season can show up.
Oh, when I was younger, I would make cards for people. Mm-hmm. It was just, I took time to make something beautiful for them and then wrote in it. Or there's so many crafts. Because
there's so many people who don't get cards. They don't get messages of love. If they do get a card, it's just a generic one. It's like not filled with anything from their families. Like, what happens when you go to somebody who's never got a Christmas card that talks about how loved they are and how much their life matters, that you write something out and forever it's just a simple card to someone else, but to that person it is speaking truth and identity that's forever impacting their lives, that you didn't know them very well or anything, or whether it's older people who are in older folks' homes, and you go like, oh, I'm going to go to an assisted care facility and I'm going to bring cards that speak truth and value over their life where they're at or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things, that I think is also like, so writing letters is really impactful. Mm-hmm. Making cards. Pizzi's family, I remember one year she got ornaments, just clear ornaments, and painted them all and personalized them for people. Mm-hmm. And it's that thing of time and intention,
right?
That you're doing or creating.
Like, you thought about me. Like, one of the greatest pains in humanity is, does my life matter? Do I matter? Was I deliberately thought of? Was I deliberately created? And when we get to speak into a moment of like, I deliberately thought about you because your life matters, something hits inside of the human heart and starts getting rewired and healed.
Yeah. I think exactly what you just said, feeling like you matter and you're significant. Sometimes for somebody that can be like being vulnerable with somebody for the first time, letting them see how much they affect you. Like, I know I have so many friends myself like this, who like letting people know how much they affect them feels vulnerable to them. Mm-hmm. And that is like a huge gift you can give to somebody. Or creating an experience where somebody feels known. Like, we're going to watch your favorite movie. I made your favorite food.
I created a dinner party specifically for people to honor them. Like, that could be something that's done for Christmas. Like, hey, it's a pre-Christmas party and I've invited the 5 of you here and I made this whole meal to express a few things to you guys.
Yeah. Or even like, we're going to do an intentional love feast for dinner. Everybody's going to bring, like, you could delegate what everybody brings. You don't even have to do it all yourself.
Yeah.
And then like, we're all going to share, there's so many questions that you could do as a group that just facilitate love. Like, you can share things you love about each other, or ways you've seen each other grow this year, or ways you've seen transformation happen.
Yeah. I think of there are families that are having some struggles, and maybe even single parents that are having struggles. And I think of like, if you do have finances, what if you went and got their kids and abducted their children? No, what if you went and said, hey, some of them that that you're like, hey, can I take your kids out for a special Christmas experience? and you help the kids buy gifts for their parents.
Totally.
Where, you know, obviously there's places to help parents buy gifts for kids, but what if it's like, I think as kids who like want to love their parents but don't have a way to, like, hey, do you want to go like buy something special for your parents? I know how many kids light up at the idea that they could give their parents something.
Absolutely.
And that they get to go on a journey with someone who's like, what do you want to do? What does your mom love? What does your dad love?
Totally.
Like there's ways to interact with kids that need like someone to go show them like Christmas, the Christmas spirit and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it's the idea, and it could just be like, yeah.
The excitement is brainstorming.
It is. And people don't want to take that time, but that's actually the fun.
It's a conversation of sitting down with the people that you might do it with, if you're not doing it alone, and being like, all right, let's dream together. Mm-hmm. What are beautiful ways to love people for this season?
And that's why, so we did it in a group last year, and we're doing it again in a group this year.
Yeah.
Because there's that energy that flows and gets excited, and the idea of planning together good things for people reminds you about good in humanity.
We had for us we have the corporate experience with our friends that are just like the randomness that we're going to do this year, and then we have sat down and we prayed, and we both got a number for a family that we love, and then they were just like, oh, like I feel like God wants to really impact their Christmas and just let them know how much he really loves them. And I'm like, I am giddy about Christmas, just like that. I'm like, we have this whole plan laid out for it. And I'm like, I can't wait to do this for them. I can't wait for whatever they get to do with this experience.
Yeah. You know, it's making me think about money a little bit. So this is going to be kind of a podcast that meanders, but it's all important things for Christmas.
Yeah.
Money issues come up a lot around Christmas.
It really does.
People feel shame if they can't. Everybody has what Christmas should be like in their head, or what their kids should have. And so there's a lot of pain points if you feel like you can't give your kids what you want, or your friends or your family or your spouse. It can feel very shameful. And I just thought, you know, intentionality is free.
Yeah.
Planning is free.
Yeah.
And most people get so frozen with what they can't do that they don't look at what they can do.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you know, I grew up, finances were tight a lot when I was a kid. And so I actually think it helped me learn a lot of gratitude. Mm-hmm. And I actually think it made things really special. And I'm friends with lots of very wealthy people. And there is a place where some of them miss when things felt special. When you can't have something, it makes like that, the process of delayed gratification is actually this beautiful process in humanity. And so we can often just get frustrated, like, I can't afford to buy the people the things that I want to do. But like, it also gives you a heart purpose that you're wanting to move towards. And there's a beautiful thing if you don't have finances, that you get to connect to the heart of love in creative ways that often creates beautiful on-ramps that you wouldn't have done otherwise.
I want to add this to talking about finances. So one of the things that everyone has to understand is that money is very cheap. What does that mean? Money is cheap. Money really costs nothing. Now, time costs us everything.
Well, depending on how much money you have.
No. You have to understand, because money has an infinite opportunity to create. We all have throughout our journey on earth, the infinite, like an opportunity for infinite amounts of wealth are available.
Yeah.
But there's a finite amount of time. And so when you realize that my time, especially my time here on earth, has a beginning and an end, only it has a max output that you just can't buy. You can't get more of that. I can always get more money. I can't get more time. So when you start seeing the asset and the value of your time, no matter what financial place you're at, you get to go, I have an enormous gift to give away. This year, I may spend 20 hours just planning and creating an experience or a connection point for someone, but that's 20 hours I can never generate more of.
And those 20 hours is what is filling me.
Is filling me, is the experience. That's what it is to come alive. It's the participation. That's why I say money is cheap. It's almost worthless. It's secondary in the sense of it is infinite. This isn't. This experience of getting connected to yourself, you can't take money and buy that emotional experience. It doesn't happen. That's why people who are super wealthy are super unhappy and dissatisfied because the experience of the heart is not based on a financial requirement. And so there's something that not only you get to, no matter what financial place you are, that you get to do for yourself and you get to do for others. And you get to give that away with a sense of pride, like healthy pride of like, yes, I'm actually giving a worthy gift away to this person.
Yeah.
It was my time to create this card, but it was a worthy gift because it was my time.
Yeah. I was thinking actually when you were saying that is the thing that sparked me about giving money away this year originally was that I was having fear over money. That's what actually started it. I was like feeling panic. And for those of you, I mean, everybody has different reasons. Because I have been so sick for so much of my life, and doctor stuff costs so much money. We're about to do another procedure that is very expensive. And so there's that fear always of like, what if I'm going to never be able to work? Like, what if I get sick again and can never work again? And what if there's like a fear that will grip me.
Right.
And I know you've had to work through fear even in that area because we've both been sick before. Like, what if our bodies give out and we just can't, that fear is very real. And so when I recognize myself getting into fear over finances, the first thing I do is choose to give.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me, it's me saying, no, there's enough. There's always enough. There's a flow of money. Money flows. It's not just here or gone. And I trust that finances will always be okay. It's like an act to get my heart realigned with faith, not fear. So that's actually the reason why I started thinking this way. I never tell people to do something where you'd give into debt, but it is good I picked a number that stretched me.
Yeah.
I was like, I need it to feel stretching so that I'm back in that posture of, no, I'm not going to believe the fear that I'm never going to have enough and I'm never going to be secure and safe. I'm going to posture myself. No, money is constantly coming to me, through me, going away, coming in.
There's a flow of it.
There's a flow of money.
I'm a conduit.
And I can relax and be safe. And so I just wanted to challenge some of you with that because I know that can be, I mean, that's honestly how I've lived my life for years. When I feel that fear grip me, I'm like, and for me, it goes to faith, not just, I believe faith without God about money is important. Like if you have faith, if you don't believe in God, but you still have beliefs about money that are healthy, it will help you create wealth.
Absolutely.
But I also have faith in God, which is, no, God, I believe that you're my provider and that you are with me in this more than having to be self-sufficient and have the weight of finances on my shoulders all the time. And I remember when I was younger, having no money and just feeling challenged to give away $2. Like I remember, this is so funny, but I had like $4 in my wallet. That's all I owned. And we always went out to eat after church together to Taco Bell. And I felt like God told me to give like $3 of the dollars to somebody, which this is also funny. People get weird about giving away small amounts of money, but I'm like, it doesn't matter because it's people feel loved by it. So I went and I snuck my $3 into somebody's purse and just dropped it in there. And then I walked away and was like, I guess I just won't go to Taco Bell today. And then that day, the pastor asked me to go out to eat with him and they went to like a real Mexican restaurant and paid for my lunch.
Wow.
And not knowing that had happened. And so there is this belief of like, but I was willing to go without in order to do that giving that I felt inside. And there's divine inspiration that we can feel. And we get the choice to listen to that voice or to shut it down. And it's taken me years to learn about that voice because sometimes I used to just be overly generous and just give away all of my money. And I never bought myself things. I never took care of myself.
You need to be tempered.
Yes. I was unbalanced. And we try to say emotional maturity is that you're balanced. And so I learned how to give away with divine inspiration, but not give away out of codependency, wanting to make people happy, wanting to make, all that stuff. And so I think it'd be worth listening to, where's that divine tingling, that intuition inside of you that is saying what number for you to give to somebody. What's so fun is that we can have this conversation without being like, and now we're taking an offering. You know what I mean? This feels like what you hear about in churches where they're like, you just give what you feel like you're supposed to give. And so that's not what we will be doing at all.
There will not be a GoFundMe at the end of this.
Nope.
There's something really beautiful about the friendship that I have the opportunity to participate in with my Heavenly Papa. And so in seasons like this, it's so fun for me to sit down and go, Dad, what are you up to? And it's easy to lose sight of God's presence or involvement in our lives. In our humanity, it's very easy to feel like, I don't even know if God's real. I don't know what's happening. Everything feels like very crazy. And we can feel very disconnected. And it's in these spaces where we just say, Dad, what are you up to? Dad, what do you want to do? And you feel those divine nudgings internally, and you follow through with it. And then you see the miraculous beauty that happens with it as people go, this is something that I really needed in my life. You have no idea. And you start remembering, and you wake up to oh yeah, he's really real. He's really involved inside of my life. He's participating, and he wants to be my friend. He wants to be other people's friend. And then there's for me personally, there's this awakening every time I do something like that to oh yeah, it's real. It's not just made up in my head. I see the act of God all around me, the move of God all around me. I see his hand. I see his face inside of these situations. And it feels so good. And it's such a perfect thing to participate in, especially around Christmas.
It's one of those ways, if you can't feel God, this is a fun way to engage feeling him, because you're getting to experience the presence of God. I say him or her because God doesn't have a sex. We don't have a word for that. But
omniscient being,
the divine creator. But so I feel this. When you participate, you get to experience. When I get to love, I get to experience the nature of God, and that is healing for me and for people.
Yeah.
It's both very good. I came up with an idea. I haven't pitched this to you.
Okay.
So we might edit this out.
Okay.
But what I think we should do is we should
what is it?
Have people write in about an experience that they want to give a family they know.
Okay.
We'll give $1,000 away to somebody to give to somebody else.
Okay.
So it cannot be that we're giving it to them. They're not nominating themselves. And it can't be just money. That's a fun idea. It can't be just money. So it's not they have to write in with what they would do with $1,000. And they can definitely give some of the money. They can be with $300 of the dollars, we're going to create this blah, blah, blah. And then we'll give them $700 or whatever. Or we're going to take them on a shopping spree with $1,000 and we're going to plan it this way. They have to come up with a plan.
Did you just come up with this while we were talking in the podcast?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Why didn't we do this earlier? They have to come up with a plan. It doesn't have to be fully laid out because that's hard, but some kind of plan about what you would do with $1,000 to bless someone. We're going to have you email those into us at our website, justinandabby.com.
Yeah, you can, in the subject, you can put $1,000 giveaway.
Yes. And then what we will do is we will pick somebody, we'll give you the $1,000, and then we will interview you on the podcast afterwards to see how the event went.
Dang. You came up with that on the fly. I like that.
I
was really braced. I was like, I don't know what she's getting me into.
And actually, I think the other thing is if anyone else, we'll see how many nominations we get. And if you're listening and you're like, I don't have somebody to nominate, but I would like to pitch in $1,000 so that multiple people could win.
Oh.
Multiple people who nominate could win, then you can let us know. We'll figure out how we would do that. We will not take any money from that.
No, nothing personally.
We'll figure out.
We would be.
We'll actually probably have it go through a 501c3 that we are. We'll figure it out. Anyway.
We're figuring stuff out on the fly.
Always.
Apparently, this is that episode where now ways you can give.
I know.
Now there is a GoFundMe, I guess.
But I don't want it to be. We don't need that. Like, so.
No, this isn't.
Go love the people in your own lives.
But if you feel like, I guess, if something sparks inside of you, and you're like, yeah, I want to give into that. Maybe we'll have multiple nominees, and we'll give give to multiple people that, and get that flow going. That could be fun.
Yeah, I think that could be really fun.
So you have
you got to do it ASAP.
You have 1 week or 2 week total of 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got to hurry.
In that period from when this launches.
Yeah.
I'm making these rules up on the fly, but I mean, Christmas is coming up really fast.
Yeah, we got to get it to them before Christmas or by Christmas, because you could do it for them for a Christmas.
For a
gift.
Christmas, right?
Yeah. You could even show up on Christmas Day and
so
do
this
something.
is how you're held accountable to know that you gave the money away. You're gonna have to come up with a hell of a story if you get on here to tell us how that all unfolded.
It's so true.
And you have to have pictures with them.
Yes. Okay, this is so fun. So hurry up and do that. Pass this episode along to people.
Yeah.
So that you can get brainstorming going on. You could do a group of you could get together, like. A group could be like, we want to take care of this one person in our group, and so we would all do these different. We'd do a scavenger hunt, and each place would give them $100. Like, you can give away all $1,000 if it's in a creative way.
I love that you're coming up with this on the fly. I wish we would have come up with it a month ago and even planned even more stuff around it.
I know,
but I'm like, this is really fun. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah. I'm so excited about it too. This is. I like creativity, and when we read these, it'll probably give me ideas for ways to give away things in the future.
Oh, that sounds so much fun.
Yeah, and this is going to make my holidays so much fun. But anyway, spread this episode, spread cheer, spread generosity, connect to yourselves, have compassion on yourselves, engage the spirit of love in whatever way you can.
All right. I like it. I like it. Christmas cheer. Go to JustinAbby.com. That's JustinAbby.com. And you can go ahead and fill out your nominations there and fill out ideas for the podcast on the Connected Life page. And rate, review, subscribe, and share. Woo! And
goodbye.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.